I went skiing on Wednesday, and so I'd been eating some mushrooms in the morning. And it usually lasts a couple hours, or it doesn't do a whole, it made my day happier or whatever. But on Wednesday, there was a mushroom in there that got all mashed up, but it was funkier looking than the rest. And I put that on my macaroni and cheese Wednesday morning, and I hit that first lift, and there was a Grateful Dead song. I don't even know how that got in my mix, but it kept playing over and over. This thing, he's gone and he's never coming back. I don't know what song it's even from, but that kept playing on the lift. The first morning lift, I'm doing this easy lift, and then it's like, oh fuck, I got off of the lift, and I just everything's just lighting up, and then I go down and I start skiing, but I'm not skiing like downhill anymore. I'm just skiing side to side and sort of back. I felt like I was the
Wait, you're not going downhill
I'm not
anymore?
going
That's when
downhill.
you called me. Yeah, he was just skiing sideways across the mountain,
Laterally?
Chaille. Like,
Yeah.
He
yeah,
was he
very
was just
slowly.
pissing off the snowboarders. Is
No,
all
no.
he
I mean, there was
was doing.
nobody up there, but I realized. I mean, how I realized.
Switchbacks, like we call it a
Well,
donkey
well,
trail.
I realized. I mean, once I got off the lift and once I was standing there and started skiing, I was like, oh, okay, because I was worried. When I would take the like micro doses, I worried what would happen if I ever really tripped and I had to sit on a lift or all that. Rode. This was a pretty short run, the first one, but I was tripping so much, and I don't even know how long it took, but I felt like I was out there a long time, and then I skied down there, and I was just oh fucking everything was just the music. I had great music going, uh, pigeons playing ping pong, twiddle, and then I had that Rolling Stone. She's like a rainbow. Seemed to keep
Oh,
playing
good song.
like every second or third song that would go again. But I made it down to the lift, and then I got on the lift, and that was just I saw fucking things. I saw lights, like I saw like I saw them before up there. It was like flares or shit, but it seemed like almost like airplanes going in. It was like an airplane that looked like it was going to hit a mountain, and I just and instead of getting all worked up about it and going, oh no. I was just like, ah, shit. This is that plane doesn't. That plane ain't in the same reality. It's fine. And then I didn't see no explosions, but and then I went into this area like a couple. I mean, early in the season, I didn't even know where this run was. There was a sign for it. It says experts only. If there weren't tracks down there, you couldn't even really see where it was. And that's where I went. I was up there, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And it was a Wednesday, so there's really not that many skiers. And I went up into this expert little up into the trees, and I was tripping so hard. I was skiing sideways, and I was skiing up the mountain some and backwards. And oh no, fuck, man, this is and I kept going. This is too unconventional. They're not gonna like it. This is unconventional. But and I didn't worry about what I was. I just there were trees and shit, but I was just under control skiing backwards, forwards, and and then every once in a while I'd get kind of bored with it, or the music would lead me, and then I would dash down and ski fucking into something, and then stop with the music and shit. I was like, and then once you get down into this run, you get out of the trees, then you're just on the back side of the whole mountain. So it's fucking as wide as you want to make it. So I don't know how long I was out there, but I would just ski fucking a half mile this way, half mile back that way, and then back up the mountain some. And there was nobody out there on that whole thing. And then, I just laid down and my phone rang. And I was like, and it stopped my music. And I was like, because I was just totally tripping balls like I felt like I was flying and nothing could bother me. And then my fucking phone rang and it was my kid. And I was like, I'm like, all right, I can't even speak. Then I called Erickson after that because I couldn't. I was trying to reset my music, and then I saw Erickson's on my phone. And I dialed him up to see if I had a voice, just to see if I could make it worse in case my phone rang again. And that I mean that was a fuck that one. I got down and I was on an alpine trail there, and I hung out there, and then I considered skiing up a different mountain, and I
Skiing up a mountain?
yeah, there was you go down this other, and I could get enough of a run to head up it, and then I figured I could hike, because there was people who do that shit,
Yeah.
and then they hike up, and then I go, how would I get down here, man? I just I talked myself out of it, but I was like that, having that great of a fucking trip that I thought I could ski up a mountain and get up a sizable. I don't think so. I had no momentum. At that point, I'd stopped, but man,
Yeah.
I'll never ski
15
without.
feet.
Skiing on mushrooms has got to be fantastic, Andy. I love
Yeah,
this story.
Or
Thank you.
terrifying.
Oh,
I would have never done it except for the complete spring-like conditions, So I was like, stripping
tripping.
layers off.
Ski
And,
tripping. That ain't the same.
Oh,
ain't
and
the
I
same
also-
tripping.
Here's how balanced I was, and I was at the height of the trip, and I once I got down out of the crater, and I went back to my car, and I was like, I don't need poles. Fuck these things. And I went up there, and I was like, it takes a little bit. You gotta fucking kind of, I don't know, it's like ice. It's like skating to propel
Wait,
yourself.
you left your poles in the car? You went
Yeah, I
back
got
and
rid
put
of
your
the
poles in the car.
Man, you don't need no
wait,
poles,
So
Erickson.
I skied without
You're
poles.
ski tripping.
It's insane to me. How do you?
wait, are these
Totally
your poles, or are
insane.
these the poles that you stole from the
Oh, the
ski
pole that-
lodge
No,
accidentally?
it was
Did you
Junior
ever sort that out?
Junior Stopkin, another guy. No, I got rid of the ski poles. They were my rentals, but I left them in the car, and then I went to the top of the mountain, down the fucking glacier, down the front of the fucking thing without poles. Like, fuck this shit. The music's
Impressive,
the only
dude.
thing you need poles for is if your skis get crossed up and you need to, to balance yourself. But I was like, I'm not even gonna allow,
Or
and that
to
happened.
turn.
Yeah,
Usually
yeah,
makes them to turn
yeah,
as a
yeah.
pivot point.
I know there's more to it, but skiing without them made it more fun for me. And then and then I was like, that was my hands. I watched other people. There wasn't many. There's a couple other people without poles, and it's like, what do they do with their hands? And then because I was too dancy. It's like, man, I'm like fucking, come down and do a combination of karate and dancing is what you do with your arms, because you do need that balance of it. So I'd like come down and do balance that with karate. But then when I wasn't falling, I was dancing.
That's
And
the
strip play.
ski
I would've gone- I would've
thing
gone-
available.
Tripping.
Yeah, I mean, it might be the way to go.
Oh, I love you,
I
Chaille.
have
I
been
love
in
that
crash.
you waited till Andy was done to
To PG this thing.
That's more accurate, right there.
That was
Yeah,
a little
Skiing up a
absolutely.
mountain.
Hey, can we unsexualize
That's
that?
Andy skiing up a mountain.
Skiing up the mountain.
Uh-huh.
That's
I
him.
was.
Skiing up the
Coming down,
mountain.
of it, you'll cross into a thing, but you could ski up it, and I was blasting up the side of mountains. It's like that's more fun than downhill skiing and skiing up something fast. It's icy. I don't know. I was reinventing the sport. I wish Warren Miller had tripped more. Does Warren Miller do LSD at all? He should. Warren Miller. I want to see one more Warren Miller movie where he's just tripping balls. Like he's tripping and skiing and talking about other people. Oh, fuck, man. Can you believe how peaceful this shit is? Man. But that was a good day to close the season out. I tripped balls and I didn't even fall really. And then 2 hours later, completely gone out of my system and everything. And I was like, fuck, what a fucking. I talked to Erickson about noon. And he goes, don't drive anywhere. I'm not going anywhere, man. I'm here. And then about 2 o'clock, I was like, I'm just fucking completely fucking, but holy, that, it looked like all the other mushrooms. It just had a little. I mashed it up, put it in the macaroni and cheese. That's why I like the microdose, and that was the thing, because I had no expectation or fear that day that I would trip hard. I didn't eat any more than any other day, and all of a sudden I'm just like, man, that Grateful Dead song is speaking directly to me. Oh, you guys hear it? Is everybody hear this shit? And it's like,
Are you sure it wasn't the macaroni and cheese, Andy, that did
no,
it?
it was
The
craft.
mushroom for sure.
Craft. I I made it up, and then I did have a little bacon in it, and sometimes those bacon plants get all kinds of shit up in there, So there could have been some food pathogens that do it, but I'm pretty sure it was all that funky little mushroom all crushed up, and I was almost threw the bag out. I was like, oh yeah, that's the last of it, and then I put it in there, and but I had no expectation that I would trip, and then usually, when I've had bad trips, I'm like, uh-oh, and it's like, this will just be like smoking weed. And then it was like, oh, it's like people who think COVID is like the flu, and all of a sudden they're like, oh no, this is not like those other mushrooms. And that Grateful Dead. That's why the Grateful Dead songs are so long, is because the message is directly to you, and sometimes you have to listen. I was like, sometimes it takes he's gone and he's never coming back for you to go, man, you're talking to me about my. Just move on, Jerry. Just move on, man. That was I recommend it highly.
Yeah.
Sounds
If
good.
he's talking to you directly and there's 25,000 people at the show, it's going to take a while to get to everyone. It's got to be a
Got a
long
leapfrog,
song.
yeah.
Yeah.
Got to touch everyone else.
That's a lot
Yeah,
of
and
people.
it caught me up. And then somehow it found its way into my YouTube mix, because I'd never type in Grateful Dead, Jerry Garcia, none of that shit. But somehow, because of the beat puppets, and then that they had that Melting Lights, the Pigeon song, Melting Lights. It's about tripping and doing a bunch of drugs and shit. And that one was my happy song, blasting across the mountain. And, and then
I
the
love you,
cool thing
man.
was there was nobody, I worried about like somebody like security, or hey, are you okay, man? 'Cause you've been laying and rolling around in the snow.
Man, you keep going uphill. We got to stop you.
Sir, do you want to get on the lift or not? You've been rolling around here for 45 minutes. I don't know what you think you're doing.
Keep skiing like this, you're gonna kill our business. Nobody's gonna pay for
I mean, you're pointed uphill, but you ain't moving, dude. The lift just keeps going by you.
Yeah.
It's that thing where you're at a light and the car next to you moves and you think you're moving. So Andy thinks he's going uphill because he's next to the lift.
Yeah. Andy's talking to Jerry Garcia, and Jerry's singing to him, and then all of a sudden Jerry's singing like, "Do you want to get on the lift, man?" And all of a sudden you realize that Jerry Garcia is the dude fucking standing there going, "You're gonna get on the lift or not?"
And then
you
I'm in the
have
trees
to move if you don't get on the lift.
I'm skiing
Get on the
dangerously through
lift.
the trees, and I
Sir,
hear
there's
Sonny
a
Bono.
line.
Sir,
like
you're
this.
not even in the line. Why are you standing there?
That was the thing, though. I was in such a groove, and it was like being at a concert or something. And I would ski down. I mean, I think I only rode the lift twice or three times where I was really tripping, because I was on the side. But when I remember one time I saw the clock, and the clock said 9:30, and I was just like, "Fuck it, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous." I've been tripping and skiing for hours or months, whatever's been going
You're
on
like
here.
the army, man. You trip more before 9 a.m. than most people do trip all day.
Yeah, and it was just like fucking easy skiing, but I was just like skiing like more balanced and more zen, like zipping and going like where I'd normally get scared or back out of something, I wouldn't worry about it. Like fuck it. And then because of that, I was able to just fucking, and also the snow was forgiving. For a guy tripping his balls off, I didn't pay any physical consequences or anything. I was like, because I wouldn't allow it. I mean, look, you don't go to Mars or some other marshmallow planet and just bounce from little fucking stem to stem and fall. It's like I refuse to let gravity play a part in this twisted reality. But it was at some point when I was down in that first thing in the trees, I was in the music playing, and I wasn't skiing, I was bouncing from one area to the next, like in a kid's bounce house. Like, but there's trees and rocks and shit up in there. There's a reason that, and then I was down there, and I kept thinking about it, experts only. But I go, I know, but I've done this before. And it's like, wait, I think it's about the skiing. No, it
Well,
isn't. It's about the
hey, Andy,
drugs.
think about it though. They're not being specific. Expert in what? You're
I
an
know.
expert in
I know.
something.
Yeah.
Right. So I
So
think
that
the
is an
combination of
invitation
being,
to all experts.
I know. So yeah, I was down there as a PhD in drug abuse, a PhD in trying hard to get out of this reality, and it worked. I mean,
Go right ahead, Professor.
just
You're
beyond
allowed.
just beyond this reality is a fluffier, more enjoyable version of the same shit. It's almost identical. But yeah, that was like one of the best trips I've ever had. I mean,
It sounds
these
like
ain't cheap
fun.
sketch
Yeah.
locations to trip, but the sight of a fucking mountain on a sunny day and not being like in any danger other than just twisting myself. I wasn't going to get lost or anything, and I knew where everything was.
Right.
When you said there weren't
You're a
many
good
people,
skier,
it
man.
sounds
That's
great.
impressive.
Yeah, and then here, I almost feel like because I was in such a good head place, and then the music was hitting me and stuff, that I almost enhanced like maybe I don't know, that's next level shit where you're like, I just had some mushrooms, but I wanted to trip really hard, so I just got into the music and started skiing against the grain. But it was like, it's just like kind of found myself
What?
into this cool,
Skiing against the grain?
It's a Bob Seger song.
Yeah, up the
B-side.
hill, man.
yeah,
Sideways.
it's a B-side.
Against
Well,
the grain.
like, so you come down, there's a couple places you
Skiing
come down a
against the grain.
path, and then it says, watch out for traffic or whatever, meaning there's people coming down the
Yeah.
mountain. And I would go, fuck
Oh,
it.
those boring
Yeah,
people, the downhillers. Yeah.
But it was a lot more fun to launch uphill than to go downhill, which I've done all the whole time I've been doing it, because that's a suggested thing, man. And I was like, fuck that. It's
Yeah.
way cool to go, especially some of them
You can't
are
contain
runs
me.
where, some of them are runs where people just aren't going to be. So I can blast up that and just hang out there and dance and shit,
Yeah.
part of it. So I kind of felt like most of the time I was skiing conventionally by their suggestion. But if a handful of crushed up mushrooms and some macaroni and cheese, and I was happy that day that I had purchased a lift ticket, because I was too fucking twisted to put any equipment up, so I just taped it to the middle of my shirt. Like, this is Jimmy. He's a special boy. I was like, no gloves or anything. I didn't need any of that shit. That shit was holding me back.
Oh,
Yeah. I don't know if I'll ever ski again, because that was just
I wish I could have seen that.
yeah. Well, you heard me trying to make words.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
I needed to. I needed that.